All right, we're back at it with another preaching preview. Again, the point of this video is to get you kind of ready for this weekend and give you a short overview of what the sermon is going to be about, so you know what you're getting into as you head to worship this weekend. So this weekend, we have a familiar text. It's from John chapter 2, and it is the wedding at Cana. And there in that wedding, Jesus has his first sign that he performs, where he turns water into wine. And it is that word sign that the Gospel of John uses a number of times. And this is the first one that shows up in the Gospel. And that's significant. And it's also significant that the first sign that Jesus performs, miracle, a sign that starts to reveal his glory, his divinity, this first sign is done, but it's not seen by that many people. In fact, if you read the text here in John chapter 2, the disciples are witnesses to this sign. We don't know how many disciples at this time, but it says that some of his disciples saw this when he manifested his glory and they believed in him. But there's also another group of people who witnessed this first sign of Jesus, and that is the servants at the wedding feast. Now, servants at a wedding feast really are there to do one thing and one thing only, that is to serve. They're not there because people want to see them. They don't come to the feast just to meet or talk with the catering staff, but really they're there to serve. And good servants really just kind of blend in. They kind of just do their work. They should go unnoticed if everything goes off without a hitch. And that's what the job of a servant is. And so, if the wine runs out at a wedding feast, the servants would be the ones who would have to deal with it. And so in that way, I think there's some importance here to the fact that Jesus performs this first sign, not only for maybe the wedding couple to save them from the embarrassment of running out of wine, but also for the servants, for the lowly people who are serving others at this wedding. And so I'm going to focus on these servants. And lovingly, I'm going to refer to the servants of this wedding feast as nobodies, people who are kind of unnoticed and unseen. They don't want fame or attention. They're just there to do their job. And that phrase, nobodies, had me also thinking about our lives and how sometimes, especially if we start comparing ourselves to others and looking at what we don't have and thinking about how we're not well known or famous, we might start to think of ourselves as nobodies. Maybe we feel like we're forgotten or looked over by society, and we start to feel like we don't matter that much, like we're nobodies. And yet it was for us that Jesus came. Jesus, the ultimate somebody, the creator of the universe, he came down from his heavenly throne, took on flesh so that he could go to the cross. And on that cross, he died a criminal's death. I mean, you want to talk about being a nobody. That's where they sent the nobodies to die, was to a cross. It was not glamorous. It was exactly the opposite of that. And on that cross, Jesus paid for all of our sin. And in that, we know that Jesus takes us, if we ever feel like nobodies, and he makes sure that we know that we are somebodies. We are his. We are God's people, we are his church, we are forgiven, and we have been brought into his family. And so in that way, Jesus did come for the nobodies, the servants at the wedding feast. Maybe any time that we feel like nobodies according to worldly standards, Jesus reminds us that we are somebodies, and he came to die for us. And in that way, it's a nice reminder that Jesus didn't just come for the important people or the powerful people or the popular people, but he also came for you and me, for people who might live quiet lives and go unnoticed. And yet God reminds us that we are very special to him. He made us, he saved us, and he will bring us into his eternal kingdom one day. So that's what we're going to be thinking about this weekend with the sermon. I hope this is helpful, and we hope to see you in worship. Thanks.